Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are the Owatonna School Board. This is Monday. It's the 21st of March, 5:30. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Eric, our attendance tonight?
We're just missing Lori.
Lori is absent. Would you all please rise? Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everything tonight is roll call. Everything is. First item tonight would be to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 4 is the mission moment. I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Elstad.
Thank you, Mr. Sebring and members of the board. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce 3 students. I'm basing tonight's mission moment off of our commitment to 21st century teaching and learning. So I would like Braylon Robbins, Landon Sturgis, and Logan Piotrowski to stand up here, please. Your talents are going to be on display here tonight. So I've learned a long time ago that when you have students and you have issues, one of the best resources we have amongst us are our students and the brains and the really cool brains that they have. So these 3 individuals, after the increased incidents that you may remember from last fall around TikTok-based vandalism, these 3 OMS students decided to make an app for a phone or an application for a device and classroom tablet to help track time outside of the classroom. When they did this, they used students' lunch codes as IDs, and they asked the students to enter them into the app. The app finds the codes on a separate spreadsheet, then loads them, notes the name attached to the code. The student selects a location like bathroom. It turns it red. And I actually got to see this. Mr. Robbins walked me through the app. And on the back side of the app, and again, what it does is it tracks students when they're out of the classroom, where they're at, and how long they're there. Because as Mrs. Sullivan and the administrative team may be investigating things that happen, having that piece of evidence is really good, and I say information. But these students developed this app, and on the back side it tracks the student's name, again, location, destination, and reason for leaving the classroom. They help us solve a problem. And I think they're to be commended for that. But here's a couple of cool things. Mr. Robbins, our advisor, said, my favorite part of this was watching the students work through their failures or having to rework their quote-unquote working app to fill a need that was requested by the OMS admin. What that tells me is that experiencing productive struggle at times for kids is okay because it makes them think of something new and they get to reiterate again. Mrs. Sullivan, the principal, stated, the app that these students created is already making a difference for us at Owatonna Middle School. We have no doubt that as we set it up throughout the building, it will continue to help us keep students in the classroom for instruction, which is why we want to have them there. This innovative thinking, problem solving, and collaboration between students and staff makes me as a superintendent very Owatonna proud. And so introducing them one by one, going from left to right as board, we have Landon Sturgis, Braylon Robbins, and Logan Piotrowski. Did I say the last name right, Logan?
You did, yes.
Fantastic. I'd like to give them a round of applause for their ingenuity and innovation. Would you 3 mind turning around real quick? I think there's a couple other people that would like to take a photo there. Yeah. While you're standing there waiting for another photo, members of the board, this is the kind of ingenuity and innovation that we encourage amongst our students to think outside the box, solve problems. Maybe these 3 gentlemen will solve a world problem in the future. And it's because when they're given that chance, and thank you for Mr. Robbins. Thank you, Mr. Robbins, for helping them and guiding them through this process and leading them through the productive struggle of learning. But I can't thank you 3 enough, and we're so proud of you. And I'm going to open it up to the board if you have any questions for these 3 gentlemen.
You guys are great. You're just great.
Gentlemen, you look as though you'd rather be anywhere in the world but here. Which of the 3 of you is the brain trust behind this? Who did the heavy lifting with the writing?
Probably Braylon. did a lot of it at home and stuff, which really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And was it something that the three of you spotted as an opportunity, or did someone bring it to your attention and say, we got to figure this thing out?
Robin's kind of like started it by giving us like the proposal of like, hey, might be a cool thing to maybe try. This may challenge you, because all of us started off going pretty strong into this class, and we kind of got it really fast. So then he challenged us to do this. I'm guessing once he started realizing of how far it's coming, he started realizing like, okay, this is actually something we can use. And then when we kept going, eventually the principals started getting in like, okay, now they see it too. And then they started asking us questions on how to get it better. And eventually we got it to where it is now in a couple of classrooms around our school.
How did you learn to create apps?
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
That's about it.
Is it a specific language that you're working in, or?
We did a part of it in JavaScript on Google Script. The other part of it was made on MIT App Inventor, which is just like block code. You just drag in a block and
Okay.
that's about it.
Oh, yeah, you know block code.
Well, I don't know that, but I'm familiar with the JavaScript.
I have a question. What was the class for? What class was it?
App creators. It was
Oh, okay.
an elective that we had chosen at the end of 7th grade, so that we could take this year.
That's cool. What was the most difficult part of making the app?
Do you need to communicate with other websites? That's probably it.
Yeah, by far. Many hours spent on that.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item top 5 tonight is a public forum. It's a good opportunity to remind everyone of the importance of meeting decorum. We do not allow slander, defamation, profanity, personal attacks, or revelations of private data. As chair, I respectfully request public refrain from interrupting the speakers during public forum. You'll be provided 3 minutes. Asked to state your name and the subject you wish to address. The only card we have tonight, April St. Martin. Ms. St. Martin, welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Beautiful day out, so. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Nikki and Tim for responding to a couple of my emails this last month. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to continuing that conversation a little bit more. I am still waiting for someone to reach out to me first, but at least it's encouraging to me that 2 of the board members responded to a couple of my last emails, so thank you. Now, with that being said, one comment that was made was that it wasn't clear exactly what the school board was, that it isn't clear to the school board who I am requesting a response from. Personally, I don't care who answers my questions, but I would figure if I sent you a personal email that I could expect a response from whoever I emailed it to. But I just want an answer, so it doesn't matter to me who responds. And at least, if you can't find the answer, at least just say you'll help me find it, or you'll help me find the person who can help me get that answer. So, for instance, I requested a syllabus for the critical race theory class last year. It is almost a year later, and I still do not have a syllabus to look at. The answer I received is that Owatonna doesn't keep that, and I should ask Minnesota State in Mankato to where I can get a copy of that. I called them, and they told me that they didn't have it and that I needed to ask the teacher who taught the class. So I emailed her, and I didn't get a response. So, excuse me. So I emailed and talked with Mr. Sebring one time about this, and he did state that he would help me get something to look at, a syllabus, and I never got a follow-up. So I tried to follow up with somebody else. That didn't work either. So I emailed Michelle Krell, and I still didn't get an answer or a response. So shouldn't it be common courtesy that if I have a question regarding anything, especially something that the school board is supposed to know, then shouldn't I be able to get a response? And it shouldn't matter who the response is from. If I email you and you're not able to email it, send it to somebody else who can at least touch base with me. So I just think it would be common courtesy to just reach out and say, you'll help me find that answer. And even when I do ask for help on where to find the information, most of the time I get zero or very little response. But once again, I do want to thank Tim and Nikki for at least reaching out and responding to my email the last month. Didn't get all of the questions quite answered, but once again, looking forward to that. So just one question is that if you ever question why I question the school's transparency or lack of communication, then I have one more question for you. Why do we elect school board members to be the bridge between the district and parents and the community if we have to do all of the research on our own to find the answers? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item 6 tonight would be the general information that would include the enrollment report. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Elstead with regard to what you found in the enrollment report? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. Item 7, for discussion, no action required by the board. First item would be board forum. Nikki, Jolene, I'm going to start down on your end.
Got nothing.
Deborah.
Last Thursday, I went to the community education building and got a tour with Deb Johnson. Very interesting. Got to sit in on some of the adult classes and stand in a corner and watch some of the kids play with their parents, and learned a little more about the parent and children classes that they have. It's really interesting.
I had nothing. Eric.
I have nothing tonight.
Tim?
Heard there's a basketball game tomorrow. It's kind of exciting. Other than that.
So yesterday and today I had state school board meeting, and during it we discussed, we had a presentation from Katie Peckel, who apparently used to teach in Owatonna. So she was very excited when I said, "Hi, I'm Nikki from Owatonna." The presentation was, they apparently recently did a survey of principals within Minnesota and got some feedback, and I'm pleased to say that a lot of their time that they've spent, they felt that it was worthwhile, that they loved their jobs. So again, from that perspective, they love what they're doing, and that was good to hear. Some of the opportunities that they were most concerned about, again, which I believe all of us are, is student and staff mental health. So that was raised quite a bit. The other topic that we discussed was COSA, which is the new organization. I believe there's 21 state school boards that are creating a new National School Board Association. And so they are working on bylaws right now, and hopefully in June of '23 is when they are hoping to have the first national school board event for everyone. So I'll keep everyone updated on that.
Thank you. Danielle.
Just some updates throughout the high school is that the speech team did really well at Big 9. They won. There is a boys basketball game tomorrow. I'm excited to go to that. We're all excused like halfway throughout the school day, so that's nice. And I guess we're all just excited for spring break. That's about it.
And adapted floor hockey made it to
Yes.
state as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Elstead, anything to add for the administrative report?
Yeah, just a couple of things tonight. I reported to you last time that we had 0 COVID cases for the first time in a long time. That number didn't stay the same. We had 4 cases across the district, which is negligible. I believe it is still my recommendation to take down our COVID district tracker until we reach a spot where maybe it would be more significant again. Let's hope that never happens, that we have to do that. Legislative update, wanted to share a couple of things with you that this morning we had a meeting with our group that's lobbying for equalization of levy. There are 2 bills that are currently in committee that have are particular importance for us. One of them is the school levy tax relief and reform. This is a tax reform bill, so this is not in the Education Committee, but it's in both the House and Senate tax committees. One of the things that I've stated before to our community and certainly the school board is that we are considered what they call a tax poor district, in that we don't have a lot of really big businesses that pay taxes like other communities do. And so unfortunately, because that's in place and because the actual formula they use is, in my opinion, somewhat archaic, it means that our individual property owners pay more for the same amount of revenue. This actual tax reform for our district would provide tax relief for our taxpayers in the amount of $3.9 million a year. It's a big deal. And taxpayers would see immediate relief on this. And it is something that I have been advocating for with our local legislators. Both Senator Jasinski and Representative Petersburg are supportive of this bill because for them and the constituents that they represent, it means savings in taxes, which is, I think, what most people like to hear. The other thing I would lift up to you is since 1975, special education has been funded only at a certain percentage from the federal government, and so the state government was supposed to pick up the rest of it. Unfortunately, they haven't, and so local taxpayers have picked up quite a bit of that bill. One that's being proposed right now would eliminate the cross subsidy, which is meaning taking general fund dollars and putting them towards special education needs on top of what is already there. This particular bill for us means that we would be able to get back about $5.4 million a year in general ed revenue, which means that, again, how that translates to our taxpayers is to really provide some relief for taxpayers, but continue the funding. We're one of the only countries in the world that has all students attending public schools. And I'm a special educator at heart. I believe in it wholeheartedly that every student deserves a free and appropriate education. This helps us fund that from now into the future without having to put burden on other programming to do that. So those are two bills that we're really trying to reach out to legislators and get them to support. I'm not certain, I have yet to contact, or haven't reached Representative Petersburg yet about the special education cross subsidy. With our surplus that we've all read about, there's a lot of people asking for different things. These two solutions, though, might really propel education funding and take the burden off of school boards and school districts of asking for continual operating levy. So those two are very helpful. Other things, the current Owatonna High School Task Force will meet again tomorrow evening. As I mentioned at our work session last week, there will be two proposals that are being brought forward for the task force members to consider. One of them is very fleshed out, has a lot more detail behind it. The other one does not, but both of them will be presented to the task force for their discussion, leading to an eventual recommendation coming to this board. The proposed date is Monday, April 11th at the work session to do that. And then, as Daniela mentioned, congratulations to our speech team, who are Big Nine champions. It's great to have. I got a chance, one of the best events I've been to, and I've been to it a number of times, is the State Adaptive Floor Hockey Tournament. Probably one of my favorite events ever, because when the students are done, they're just happy they got to play. And I just think that just warms my heart about how activities mean so much to all of our students. We had a great crowd there on Saturday, and it was really fun to see that our parents and community members come and support our kids. That means a lot to them because they saw a lot of clapping and cheering even when we were down by 4 or 5 goals, but they came. It was a very close game. It was the other team scored with 54 seconds left in the game to win. Otherwise, it was tied. It was a great game, but it was fun to be at. And then, of course, tomorrow we'll kick it off, and we sent off our basketball team in a send-off today for the state tournament. So proud times at Owatonna High School and certainly in the Owatonna Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. 3 items in it, the minutes from the February 28 and March 14 meetings, disbursement, and personnel reports. Anybody have any reason that any of these should be pulled out? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Eric, it's a roll call vote.
Deborah,
Aye.
Jolene,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Thank you. I'm going to have you introduce the motion on the next issue right here. Item 9 tonight, board action requested. The first one being the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of probationary teachers. Sorry, I don't want you to introduce that one. I'll have it. Item B. I'll have you do item B. Mr. Elstead, would you give us an update on that?
This is something that we're required by statute every year, that if there are staff that we are terminating or non-renewing their contract, this is part of the statutory requirement to not only evaluate staff, but also we have to look at licensures. If there's a staff member that doesn't have the right license and they received a variance by statute, we have to let them go and then apply for another variance if necessary. But it's something that we typically do at this very meeting every year because of that situation.
Questions? One of you be kind enough to introduce this motion for us?
I move that the board approve the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of probationary teachers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Eric, roll call.
Deborah,
Aye.
Jolene,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item B, ratification of the 2021 through 2023 tentative agreement with the Owatonna Education Association. One more time, Mr. Elstad.
Thank you. This was in your packet, the information about our tentative agreement with the Owatonna Education Association. You see that their bargaining unit ratified this on March 9th. It's now being proposed for your consideration tonight. And I, as well as Chris Peak, our Director of HR, stand ready for questions you might have.
Questions? Appear to be no questions. Would you be kind enough to introduce this for us?
Yes. I move that the board approve the 2021 through 2023 agreement with OEA, Owatonna Education Association.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. I'll have you do the roll call vote one more time.
Deborah,
Aye.
Jolene,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item C is the compensation and benefits for individual non-affiliated employees. Mr. Elstad.
Typically, once our largest bargaining unit, which happens to be the Owatonna Education Association, reaches a tentative agreement with the board, other groups of employees then we try to get contracts taken care of for them as well. So again, you received information on this, and this is not anyone that's non-affiliated with one of our collective bargaining units.
Any questions? One of you be kind enough to introduce this motion.
I move that the board approve the 2021 to 2023 salary and benefits package and employee guidelines changes to individual non-affiliated employees, and authorize the chair and clerk to execute the individual agreements on behalf of the school board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric.
Deborah,
Aye.
Jolene,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item D is the ratification of the tentative agreement with the Owatonna Education Support Staff. Mr. Elstad.
Again, this is one of our collective bargaining units. This happens to be the special education paraprofessionals that we've reached tentative agreement with. The information was shared with you in your packet. I would stand ready, or Chris would stand ready for any questions you might have.
Board, any questions?
I have a question. Did the paraprofessionals agree to the same thing that the teachers did then?
Yes,
Okay.
in total package.
In total
Yep.
package, okay.
Further questions? Jolene, would you introduce the motion?
I move that the board approve the 2021 to 2023 agreement with Owatonna Educational Support Staff, special education paraprofessionals, and authorize the chair and clerk to execute the agreement on behalf of the school board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric, if you would.
Yep. Deborah,
Aye.
Jolene,
Aye.
Nikki,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
And I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item E is the compensation and benefits for district directors that would be non-cabinet. Mr. Elstead.
Yes, these will be people that serve as like district director of technology and innovation, director of student nutrition, some of our departmental directors in this group. They are non-affiliated, but they're part of a director group.
Any questions? Hearing none. Tim, you have it queued up, could you?
Sure. I move that the board approve the 2021 through 2023 salary and benefits package and employee guideline changes for individual director, non-cabinet employees, and authorize the chair and clerk to execute the individual agreements on behalf of the school board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric, if you would.
Deborah.
Aye.
Jolene.
Aye.
Nikki.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
And I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item F, compensation and benefits for individual cabinet employees. Mr. Elstead.
Likewise, these are cabinet level directors, so director of human resources, director of finance and operations, teaching and learning, community ed, and so on.
Questions? Hearing none. Nikki, you have it queued up?
I move that the board approve the 2021 to 2023 salary and benefits packages and employee guideline changes for individual cabinet employees and authorize the chair and clerk to execute the individual agreements on behalf of the school board.
Second.
Motion and a second. Eric, if you would.
Deborah.
Aye.
Jolene.
Aye.
Nikki.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Item G is the ratification of the tentative agreement with the Owatonna Education Assistance. Mr. Elstad.
Yeah. This is a group of employees that serve as sometimes supervision assistants. They're in classrooms providing educational supports that are non-special education. So it's just other educational assistants that are needed to support classrooms and students.
Questions? Deborah, do you have it queued up?
Yep. I move that the board approve the 2021 to 2023 agreement with the Educational Assistance Staff and authorize the chair and clerk to execute the agreement on behalf of the school board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric.
Deborah.
Aye.
Jolene.
Aye.
Nikki.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
And I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Last item tonight would be the gifts to the district. Mr. Elstad, looks like there were some nice things on that list again.
Yeah, another nice list of philanthropic gifts given to the school district. I would call out one in particular. For our Owatonna Clay Target team that's getting started. I can't wait to go back out and be with them again this spring. The 20 Rifle and Pistol Club and Straight River Archery Club donated $4,000 toward their effort to cover costs that are incurred to make sure we could get more and more students that are interested to be part of the Clay Target team. It's quite a robust program.
You want to go out and shoot with the kids.
Last time I did,
Yeah.
I lost horribly, but I'm willing to go out and do that again. It was a lot of fun.
Out of 25, how'd you do?
Less than 10.
More than one?
less than 10, but I had so much fun.
Is this one of those things where you say pull and they send the, oh.
Yep, and then the target goes out, yeah. And when I was there, the two young ladies that I was actually shooting with went 23 and 24 for 25. Outstanding.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Other than his less than spectacular shooting capability, anybody have any questions for Mr. Elstad? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion that we approve the gifts to the district with great appreciation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric, one more time.
Yep. Deborah.
Aye.
Jolene.
Aye.
Nikki.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
And I myself is an aye. 6-0 pass.
Motion carries. Final item tonight would be to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, folks.